about. Today we're going to do some whole spare ribs. So I'm just going to show you real quick how I prep these. Now these are not St. Louis cut ribs, which is trimmed down ribs out of spare ribs. These are actually the full spare. And for some reason I've been craving a full spare set of ribs. So I thought, well, today, you know what? I'm gonna pick up some, we're gonna trim them down a little bit, and then tomorrow we're gonna cook these over charcoal and wood. So I'm gonna get it seasoned up today, let it set overnight in the refrigerator, and we're gonna be good to go. So one of the first things I wanna do is flip this over. I like to do the back side first. And as you can see, big piece of meat. There's actually a breastbone right here. I'm gonna leave this flap here on, take some of this off. So let's get to trimming. The first thing I'm gonna do is take off this breastbone right here. It'll be a little tricky to get a hold of that, but find the spot where it comes through. Should be about right in that area. Let's see here. Sometimes you gotta get down there and give it a good chomp. To get that sucker out of there. Be able to come right back through there if I can get a hold of it. There we go, perfect. Get that piece there off. And then from there, start trimming out some of this other fat. It's back here on the back of this thing. Some of that's not any good. I'll get that membrane off here in just a little bit, but kind of cut some of that fat there out. I'm not gonna worry about taking out too much because I'm gonna let this cook for a pretty good while tomorrow. Probably 6, maybe 7 hours. And a lot of this stuff here will render, so just want to kind of give you guys a quick down and dirty. No science to this. Just clean off the fat there pretty good. And you don't even have to do that if you don't want to. I like to get a little bit of head start there on it. And the next thing I do is I like to go ahead and take this piece of meat right here off. But that's not going to do anything for the cooking process. So one of the best ways here to get the membrane off here, flip this to the other side. Just take you a paper towel. Hopefully I can get this to work here. Sometimes it's real easy, sometimes it's not. A lot of times you see people, they'll start it with a butter knife. I've always found I can usually grab it like this pretty good at the end. And just pull it right out of there. There we go. It's a big chunk of it there. Got another little piece here. Always have you a couple extra towels handy because usually you're not going to be able to get it with one paper towel. So get that off. Trim the rest of that fat out of there. That's some pretty big chunks of fat there. That may not necessarily be good for you. Let's get that out of the way. All right, then from there, we'll go back over to the other side. Oops, sorry about that. Trying to move as quick as I can for this part of the video. I'm going to season the bottom side first. So it's actually looking pretty good. Not much more I really need to do to that right there. Go ahead and square that off a little bit. Go ahead and get that squared up just a little bit, kind of gives it a better appearance. And then from there, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little bit of mustard down as a base. You don't have to really season this side as much, but I will say, when you're doing the full spares, you got a lot of meat right over here, and a lot of times that is really good meat for later if you want to cut off and maybe eat some rib without a bone, or you can take that off, put that into baked beans, that kind of thing. So today, I'm gonna season this up with a little bit of my own personal salt, pepper, garlic. Bear with me just a second here. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to get the water going over here. But I'm gonna use a little bit of my own salt, pepper, garlic, and then I'm gonna come back with a little bit of killer hog. Malcolm Reed killer hog. Kind of been a little bit of a killer hog here lately. A lot of times I like to go ahead and get started with the rub, and I like to do quite a few different cooks with it, kind of see how it does on different stuff. So that's kind of why you're seeing that. So I'm just gonna start off here with a good coat of this. Going down through there. This will give it a good salty, savory kick. I got a little pepper in there too. And then I'm gonna put some of the killer hog, the barbecue rub, Malcolm Reed. This gives a really good color. Kind of pushing that salt and pepper. And I got that thicker, coarse pepper on there today. I'm gonna kind of try that out. See, it's actually I've gone blank here. But anyway, it's a thicker cut pepper. So we'll go back here with a little salty, the barbecue rub, killer hog. We're pretty good with that. This is a pretty big size piece of meat here since it's a full spare. So I'm gonna go heavy with it. Looks good. I love that color. I love the color that Malcolm Reed's killer hog has to it there. And just flip it onto the other side. I'm gonna do the same thing, not real complicated. I'm gonna leave all this fat here. I'm gonna take this little piece here out because that's not gonna be any good. Kind of slimy, not beneficial for anything. You don't want that. So if you see, with any kind of meat trimming, if you see any kind of fat that's not fat that you think would be beneficial, could render, I just recommend getting it out of there as best you can. Because you're not losing anything by getting rid of it. And if you leave it, you may not be gaining anything by having it on there. All right, so put down a little bit of mustard. Make sure you get this mustard rubbed in good. You don't want any spots where it's sitting in a pool. If it gets pooled up like I've talked about in other videos, then a lot of times the bark will not form there because it's holding too much moisture. All right, so going here with a little bit of salt, pepper, garlic. Not too heavy, just to get a little douse of it. Go back there and rub that in. If it gets a little heavy in spots, just rub it off there. And then go back here with some good killer hog, Malcolm Reed. Just like that. Like I said in other videos, you know, it's not brain science here. Just go in there, have a good time with it. Not very often you can make a mess as a grown person. Or maybe there's some people watching who aren't grown. But you know, sometimes it's fun to make a mess. Get in here, have a good time, get it all put together. All right, so we slide this over here out of the way. And then from there, and I won't necessarily make you guys watch all this, but from there what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cover this up with foil, the actual chopping block. I'm gonna cover it up with foil. And I'm gonna put it in the smoker, or not in the smoker, but in the refrigerator overnight. And I'm just gonna let all this seasoning sit here, start coming together. It'll actually start going ahead and creating a little bit of a barky crust, if you will, which is good, gives it a chance to work on the meat. And it's gonna be delicious. So we'll get this on tomorrow and we'll get it all smoked up. So if you liked the video today, please like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you ring the bell for notifications for when new videos come out. And I appreciate you watching.